Hello everyone and welcome to the Field Time Ag how-to video. Today what we're going to cover is the how-to for setting up your operation. So first things first, you need to be able to find your operation, right? So in the top right corner, you'll see a magnifying glass and you click that and you need to type in your town that you're looking for. So the name of the town, comma, and then your state, and then you press enter. In this case, I just entered where I went to college. And it will drop you right over the town, and you can scroll and go find your operation and start putting in your fields. So I'm going to cut the video and start drawing and importing shape files. Okay, so we're going to start with how to draw fields. So you click the polygon button here on the main screen, and then you just start clicking your points. It's very simple to do. Put in as many points as you want. Then you click where you started. Now what it wants to do is name the field. So we're just going to call this field 1-1. The reason we're doing that is this particular farm has multiple fields within it. So we're going to want to name each one differently and then group them. So now what it's doing is giving you the row angle. So the algorithm is designed to go long ways in the field to associate your row angle, because that's most of the time the way that it's going to be farmed. So that's what the red line is indicating, is the direction that it's being farmed. So we're going to accept that. That's also making assumptions on where your headlands are. And that is also correct, where these yellow lines are at. So we're good with that. Now we need to draw the second patch within this farm. Let's go down here. Connect the dots. We're going to call this field 1-2 because it's the second field within this farm. We're going to change the row angle because, like I said, it usually will associate the longest part of the field. We're going to update to add this as a headland. We'll accept those changes. Now we need to draw the last field on this farm. Connect the dot. So this will be field 1-3. We'll accept that. The row angle looks correct thanks to the algorithm. Then we need to update that as a headland. Accept. Now what we want to do is group them. So click them in the order that you plan to farm them. So that one, this one, this one. Then you right click and just click group. Accept that. Accept the name. And now when you click on the field, all three will be selected, but anytime you select it, it still thinks, or it knows that it's going to be farmed in this order, 1, 2, and then 3. Okay, another way you can add fields is shape files. So you click on File, Import Fields from Shape Files. You just click your Shape Files file, click Open. You'll hear the ding. And now your shape files are in. So you'll accept that. And now what it's going to do is the same thing as we did before with the row angle and your headlands, because you've already got your boundaries in. So we're going to add that as a headland as well. Accept that. That looks correct. We'll add this as a headland and that one too. That looks correct. Add that as a headland as well. Accept that. The row angle looks good. We just need to update our headland here. And you can adjust what it thinks is a headland with this angle threshold button by turning the angle up or down. But 35 is a pretty good default for when you're going through and adding your headlands to these fields. Okay, so you get the gist on how to do these steps here. So what we're going to do now is cut the video, and then we're going to show you how to add operators, implements, and your implement preferences. So I'll go ahead and cut here. Okay, now that we've got our fields in, we need to assign a driver. So we'll go to Manage, click on Operators, and we're going to add our first operator, and we're going to name him Tex, because Tex is just a good old boy. And we're also going to add a second operator named Tex Jr. So Tex thinks his name is so good that he named his son accordingly. Okay, now that Tex is in the system, he needs something to drive. So you go back to manage, click on your implements. Then you want to add the implement of choice. And in this case, we're going to add a sprayer because Tex is going to do some burn down. He's got some winter annual weeds that are getting pretty thick that he wants to burn down before he does his tillage passes. So we're going to name it sprayer 15 GPA. The sprayer width looks right at 100 feet and the tank capacity looks correct at 1,000 gallons. We're going to accept that. And now what we want to do is go back to manage and go to implement preferences because we want to make sure that we've got this inputted for the way that Tex likes to do his operations. So the first one's operator efficiency percentage. So Tex is a really good operator. He gets to the field, he unfolds, he starts spraying, and he doesn't take any breaks. That's why this is at 100%. But if Tex Jr. is on the job, he likes to stop and take a lot of smoke breaks and just take a lot of breaks in general. So you could back him down to 75% as an example if he's not as fast as an operator as Tex the first. So we're going to go back to Tex the first here. Okay, so when Tex is wanting to spray at 15 GPA, his setup is that he has to drive 13.3 miles per hour to get that. His speed between fields, since this program also does your travel time between fields, he likes to drive 20 miles per hour down the road. When he's spraying, he likes to spray straight. We're not going to do anything with row angle here. He likes to wrap the field one time when he gets started. Then we need to update our rate here for 15 gallons per acre. And then fill up time is by the time Tex runs out in the middle of the field, drives to his nurse truck, refills, and get back to spraying, his average fill up time is 12 minutes. So we're going to accept that. Now let's run a simulation to see how long it would take Tex to get this sprayed. So 38 minutes to get this field sprayed. Okay, now we want to add another implement because now that it's burned down, Tex wants to do some tillage since it's pretty hairy. So we're going to clear that, go to manage, and go into our implements once again, and we're going to go to our tillage section. So we're going to add a field cultivator. We're just going to call it FC, and it's a 34-foot field cultivator. Then we're also going to add a second one. We'll just call it FC2, and let's just say that it's a 25-footer. Just for an example, we'll run here in a little bit. So we're going to accept that change. Okay, now we'll click the field that we want to do our operations in, and we'll change our implement to field cultivator. Now we just estimate our time. I don't quite like that. Tex likes to work things at an angle. So let's go back into manage, and we're going to go into our implement preferences. And what we're going to do here is change the row angle to 20 degrees since Tex likes to work things at an angle. And then while we're in here, we'll just make sure that we've got our headland passes correct, which is 4. That looks right on the map. And then his non-headland passes, that also looks correct. Because when you're working at a field, you want to make sure you take out your tire tracks and your weeds on the edges. So that looks correct as well. We'll accept that change. Now let's rerun it. Okay, that looks correct. Working at an angle, got 2 passes on the sides and 4 on your headlands. I like the way that looks. Just for a quick example, let's switch to field cultivator 2. That's a little bit smaller. You can see that takes a little bit longer, but it's got it work straight. We could change that pretty easily though. But we're gonna go back to field cultivator 1. Okay, now what I wanna show you is how easily it is to run a simulation. So let's just go back to sprayer at 15 gallons. And let's select a few fields. So we're gonna start with this one, go down the road, hit this one and this one. All right, let's just run that for our simulation. Estimate our time. So it is going to take Tex 2 hours and 41 minutes to spray this 191 acres. His average work rate's gonna be about 71 acres an hour. There's the gallons used as well. Then if you keep scrolling down, it'll give you the field by field data as well. And what's also nice is it will tell you when your nurse truck driver needs to be there. So you can see this refill needed section. So if Tex starts spraying at 8 a.m., he should need a refill by about 9:05 a.m. So this can really help with dispatching your employees with having these refill needed parts. And you'll have that refill needed section in regards to a few different implements. You'll have that for anhydrous. You'll have that for planting, so for when you need seed. You'll have it for spraying. You also have it for spreaders for when you need a refill with dry fertilizer, for example. So one other thing we can do here is I'm going to clear this, and we're going to show you a scenario on adding an extra operator. So let's just click these fields again and run our simulation real quick. Okay, so 12 hours and 10 minutes to field cultivate this 190 acres. Now what we're going to do is add another operator, see how much faster it's going to be. So Tex Jr., he's going to be in field cultivator 2, but let's just make sure his preferences are correct. So we'll change that to Tex Jr. And one thing that we need to change here for Tex Jr. is the 20-degree row angle. And the same amount of headland passes, same number of non-headland passes. So we're going to accept those changes. Now we're going to estimate the time with both of them. So by adding that second field cultivator, we're cutting it down to just under 7 hours if there's no issues here. So 7 hours versus about 12 hours. So 5 hours of savings by adding that 25-foot field cultivator for these couple of fields. So pretty impactful by adding that second operator. So if there's anything that arises when you're trying to set up your program, please reach out to contact@fieldtimeag.com in order to reach out to us if you need any assistance. Hopefully this video was impactful, and we hope to be doing business together in the future. Thank you for your time.